My name is Praveen, and in this video we will gonna learn the difference between the iterator functions of SUMX and SUM and the average X function and average, right? So let's start the video. And before starting, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe and hit the like button of this video. So let's start. So let us first understand the difference between the sum and SUMX function. So if you are seeing in this Excel file, I have written the sum function here. So it basically understand the column name. Whenever you need the sum and using the SUMX function, so in SUMX function you have to pass a column name. Actually, it only understand a column function, right? It only you can pass a column name, while SUMX function is more powerful than sum function. It basically its first expression, we have to pass the table name on the basis of which we are evaluating our expression, right? And the second one, it asks for the expression, and in expression we can pass the any filter fields, or we can also calculate our calculation based on two columns, right? So it basically the iterator functions which are ending with x, like SUMX, AVERAGEX, COUNTX, and many more. So they basically perform the calculation row by row on a row basis, right? But these sum functions and average and count, these functions are only understand a single column function, and it doesn't provide any filter expression which we have to pass, or it doesn't allow us to calculate value on the basis of two columns or three columns if we need. But in iterator functions using SUMX, AVERAGEX, we can do the same, right? So let's understand practically. So I have made a dummy data set here. As you can see, the zone is given here, state, district, and the main thing is here cost, price, and quantity sale is given. So in scenarios when client provide data, when we have a huge data set in the form of this, which we have less number of columns recorded. So in this by using a direct query mode, or some modes where the data is big, so we are not here to calculate actually columns in Excel or in the mode. So suppose here if we want to calculate a column, that is revenue, right? So if we want to calculate, let me correct it. So yeah, if we want to calculate revenue, we will simply multiply price into quantity sale. Sorry, this one. Okay, so it will gives us if I drag this formula to this. Okay, so now this is given revenue, which is calculated based on row by row actually, right? So it understand for a particular row, like in state Delhi, district Delhi, the price is 42 and quantity sold is 125. So we simply multiplied 42 into 125. This is done by row, right? So this generates our revenue column, right? And similarly, if we want to perform a profit column, that is, this is here profit. So we have to first find out the difference of cost and price, and then multiplied it by quantity sale, right? So for an example, here the difference between the cost, which actually the production cost is given 35 and the price is 42, right? So here you can see the differences of 7, right? 7 units, 7 rupees of units per unit. So we can simply multiply 7 by quantity this into to perform this calculation, which will generate our revenue. But why we are doing this? But let's move on to the Power BI. I have loaded this same data set in this Power BI. You are seeing, right? So let's say if we have a big data set having huge numbers of columns and rows, so we are not here to calculate each column by column, right? So it basically increase our data set file size as well. So instead of this, we these iterator functions we can use. It's so it basically helps to save our time, and they are also very useful functions. So I am just dragging these columns in this column data set to understand what actually we have. Let's say I am dragging here zone, state and district, and then we will understand our functions one by one. So this is a cost here, and then I put here over the price and quantity sold, right? Okay, so this is automatically summarizing. Okay, cool. Okay, and let one more visual, I need to drag it over here so that I can clearly show you the difference. I want to show you here the price, not price actually, I want to show you quantity sold. As of now, yeah, okay. So as of now, I dragged here quantity sold, right? These are the columns, and one more visual I need here. Here we will put our functions, right? Okay, so we are ready to go. Let's say now we have here the data set, right? So let's say in a KPI card, the client's requirement is to show in a first card to show the total revenue, how much revenue they earn in a certain period of time, and in all over the states where they have their business, right? So instead of creating a new column, just by multiplying price by quantity, so I prefer to create a measure, that is SUMX. I already written a measure here, right? So I will re-evaluate this to understand. Let's say quickly. So I named it SUMX revenue, right? So as I shown you in Excel, if you can look here, so we perform the calculation based on multiply price into quantity, and please understand the our calculation is row by row, right? We didn't multiply the summation of price, that is if you are seeing here 1130 and quantity sold, which is 3874, right? So this is not our requirement, it will put a wrong results for us, right? So to perform this calculation, we will use this function SUMX. So basically it will multiply these two columns, and then it will sum the quantity. So in a very basic function in Excel we use, that is sum product. So first we have to provide the table, which is our data set 1, and now our expression is to multiply price into quantity, so right, and simple. Now we will drag it into this SUMX revenue. So if you are seeing, the revenue is 164,34960. So let's check it in Excel. Is this same, right? So we have already created here revenue, that is 164,349.6, right? And our revenue is also 146,349. Yeah, absolutely correct. Now let understand the average X. So for the same, I have provided here using the average X function. I'm trying to find out the average of revenue, right? How much revenue in every state, that is the average revenue. So I can simply multiply here average price into quantity sale. So it gives me the average revenue of every state, right? Now say I want to find out the net profit, how much profit is company earning, right? So yeah, and the beauty is there, you can also put some X revenue, which is the measure over here. So you can see that in this widget, you can see that in this column, you can see that the revenue is by the product of price and quantity row by row, right? And this is the total revenue. So now let's find the net profit. Okay, So net profit is our sum x calculation, not a average x. So basically what we want, we actually trying to differentiate row by row of cost and price, and then multiply it by quantity sale, right? So we are doing this, and then we will sum up the final result. A new column will generate on the basis of this, then we will sum up that column, right? So you have to understand about the sum, where you need to do sum and where you need to do average, right? So first argument, we have to provide our table name. Our table name is dataset1, so we have to click on this. Now it asks for the filter expression. So I want to multiply the quantity sale, right? I want to multiply the quantity sale, but based on a filter context. But there is a filter criteria basically, and the filter is that I have to multiply quantity sale by the difference of cost and price. So let's do the same. So I am putting here cost, sorry, price. Our price is greater, so we have to write first price. So it is a price and minus cost, right? So we have to put it over here a bracket, because as per the board mass it will first find out the difference and then multiply it by quantity sale, right? And you can close the bracket simply, and yeah, let's drag it into this multiple KPI card. This is the net profit, 27,391, right? So we can, if we put here net profit, so you can see it is created net profit by multiplying the difference of these two columns. This is the net profit we have found. So I hope you got the idea of how to find out the net profit and using the function of sum and sum x. Instead of this, if we use sum and average function directly, we will not be able to do this calculation, right? Because if I use sum function, so it will, I was only able to calculate the quantity of sale, sum of price, and then multiply this column, so it will give the wrong result, right? So I hope you understand from this video, and if you like this video, please share this video with your friends, and keep subscribe our channel for